You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
Sitting looking back on all the times we shared, when I acted like I just didn't really care, and it wasn't fair. You stood by me, girl, when I was so untrue. But this is my promise, girl, I give to only you. Let me be the one you come running to. When you need me, I'll be there, just to let you know that I do care. Baby, I promise, girl, I promise, I'll always be true. And baby, I promise, girl, I promise you that I'll be right here for you, no matter the problem, babe. I'll stand by your side, be right by your side. We share can never be denied. I know the love in me wasn't always easy.
You are now tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the next big thing, the latest up-and-coming sports journalist, your host, Nathan Snell.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell, Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. I know it's been a little bit since you last saw me. Last time you saw me was episode 7. That's when Brendan Potts was on the podcast. We were talking about the Maryland women's basketball team. They were in Cancun for the Cancun Challenge. I apologize if I've been on. I'm wrapping up my fall semester. Apologize for that. That kind of gets me to the introduction. Where I'm getting episodes 9, 10, and 11 up as soon as possible. We're going to painfully recap Washington and also to previewing their week. They're on a bye, and it cannot come at a much better time. So be on the lookout for these episodes. Again, I apologize for them not being out in a timely manner. Once by next week, things will clear out a little bit more, so there's a little more time for me to record different things like that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, my birthday was this past Tuesday. Thank you for all who gave birthday wishes. Much appreciated. I didn't have me. Was like, yeah, today's your birthday. So I'm grateful for another year. Thank God for that. And I'm looking forward to a very prosperous 2024. Good things are going to be happening. I can't wait to share that with you guys. Definitely got some plans for 2024. 2024 is when I feel like it's going to be the year. I think it's going to be a great year, and I'm proclaiming that. So thank you very much. But we're going into week 14. But before we get into week 14, for the Baltimore Ravens, just before their bye week faced Los Angeles Chargers. We were kind of on a little bit of a short week, had a little bit of a mini bye week before we went into our official bye week, and faced the Los Angeles Chargers. And the final score, the Baltimore Ravens defeated the Los Angeles Chargers 20-10. You know, for me, I felt like this was a must win for Baltimore. This was not really the best football game from an offensive standpoint that I've seen from the Ravens. This was quite disappointing. When I look back at the tape, I still see bad habits. You know, I'm really getting to a point where I have to start. I've already been looking at him, but it's going to come down to, we criticize Lamar a lot, but John Harbaugh's not getting criticized the way he should. even though I see changes within this offense, I see this going too conservative. For me, week 12, you know, I thought this offense would have been better. And while they did, particularly in the first half, Lamar was efficient throwing the ball. He was 12-18 for 115 yards and a touchdown. But on the first 3 possessions, only scored once. And that's when he found Zay Flowers. Outside of that, I really couldn't find them offensively. And like I said, it's going to come down to the offense. I think the defense cannot continue to bail this offense out. It just can't. I felt coaching definitely played a role, and I'm going to stick with that. Even though I will say for the most part we were in firm control of this game, I didn't see it affect the scoreboard. There was a lot of, excuse my language, but what the fuck are you doing moments, especially throughout the game that put them away. Let me give you an example. When Nelson Aguilar caught it, clearly was a first down. They ruled it short. Should have challenged it. Then it was a third down scramble to Lamar, where, just for context, it was a 24 first down marker. Then there was on the second play possession of that on that drive, it was a 21-yard reception by Nelson Aguilar, which made it a 2nd and 22. Because if you look, he hit the ground, he was in bounds before he hit beyond the first down marker. Why Harbaugh didn't challenge it, I have no idea. And that is right there, is what I'm talking about. It's just too conservative. And then what bothered me was then they went to try to do a no huddle, and even going into the rest of that drive, the play calling was weird. I mean, that was a direct snap. He gave it to Gus Edwards on a fourth and inches, and then he tried to throw a quick screen play for Zay Flowers. Like, to me, it's just bad coaching, and these decisions are what is going to affect the game come playoff time. You have to be more aware. You have to see those kind of things, and I'm very disappointed. We can't. And again, these are things I would have expected to be cleaned up. Now I know we're going to have mistakes in games. That's part of the game. Mistakes happen, but your coaching, your head coach, and your offensive coordinator, they have to be in sync. To me, there's too many times I've seen Harbaugh just go, okay. You can't be conservative moments like that. And again, and not just that, this offensive line, I'm just going to keep it real, which is disappointing, mildly disappointing. I mean, while Baltimore rushed the ball 35 times for over 200 yards, I mean, they were mildly inconsistent. They didn't give Lamar Jackson clean pockets. I mean, they kept him upright. I mean, they gave up a pair of sacks. There was a number of hits to the quarterback. I mean, they just didn't let Lamar breathe in the pocket. There was a lot of incompletions. There were several overthrows. And again, we've stressed this really since his second year. Having a stable offensive line. As much as I think this offensive line is good, Morgan Moses was getting burnt like toast. I'm actually surprised they didn't have at times Ricard out there as a chip block. Because I remember when we had a year or so ago, we had Alejandro Villanueva. We had to put Patrick Ricard out there because Villanueva was getting beat on the block. But and again, while Lamar had a decent game, it just was the pass protection, and especially Ronnie Stanley. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. When healthy, he is one of the best left tackles in the game. But you can clearly see the injuries are starting to affect him. Now, the one thing I'm not liking about in this discord amongst Raven fans, yes, you want to cut him, that's fine. Who are you replacing him with? See, it's easy to say cut him and then, look at what's in the draft or expect these guys to develop like this. I watched Ben Cleveland. Ben Cleveland hasn't developed. Kevin Zeitler is probably the best offensive lineman we have. Morgan Moses is older. Tyler Lindemann is going to be a Pro Bowler, but that offensive line needs work. And then also, too, let me say this as well. It's easy to say those things, but vice versa, some of that is coaching. Some of that can be adjusted. I think it can be easily adjusted. How many times did you see Khalil Mack? It doesn't matter if he was on the left or the right. I mean, they both had their hands full. Morgan Moses, yes, was out with a shoulder injury for context. But, I mean, they just – and then also, too, Ronnie Stanley. It was his first game back, week 11, with a knee injury. That's also – and I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to be fair. But they had their hands full with Khalil Mack. And he recorded sacks on both of them. Odell, look at the offense. Odell looked pretty good out there. Zay Flowers, to me, was our player of the game, the 2 touchdowns. Keaton Mitchell, I'm telling you, we got to continue to feed this young man the ball. I think he is a rising star in this league. He has the capabilities. My only concern is, the consistency, the amount of plays I'm going to keep throwing his way. One thing I will say with Odell, I know he's been battling a shoulder injury. And again, when we signed him, the expectation is not for him to be the guy. Like, we're expecting Zay, Nelson Aguilar, Rashard Bateman. He had a decent game. We're expecting those guys to step up. And I those are things that I saw. But I'm going to say for the most part, this defense bailed Baltimore out bailed us out as a team for the most part. Kyle Hamilton, I think, is a generational talent. Say what you're not, this defense is championship caliber, in my opinion. They're proving why they're the best defense in the league. The six times where we produced a takeaway, 3 fumbles, a pick, and 2 stops on 4th down. And we allowed under 300 yards, but it was 279 yards total offense for San Diego. Justin Herbert, he threw the ball 44 times. He was sacked 3 times. Austin Eckler, Josh Kelly, they couldn't get anything going on the run on the ground. They ran the ball 35 times. 86 yards on the night, and 35 of that, if I remember correctly, was just a one late scramble. They let Eckler. It was I don't know. It was a weird play, but they gave him. I thought Harbaugh challenged it. It was a forward pass, but for the most part, they did really well. To me, Kyle Hamilton was the MVP. Jadeveon Clowney, my gosh, what a signing that has been for the Baltimore Ravens. I was a little concerned. I was a little nervous how it panned out, but hey, he is looking spectacular out there. Roquan Smith is going to continue to do his thing. But I'm really proud of these guys. And I'm going to go back to Kyle Hamilton. I mean, he was all over the field, especially in coverage as an open field tackler, especially behind the line screen, especially when there were a couple times they threw screens. He just looked good. Justin Madubuike, I'm a little concerned because we did offer him a contract, and he turned it down. He's betting on himself. He's actually the first player, defensive tackle, to reach double-digit sacks since T. Suggs back in 2017. So he went down he went late down in the game with the concussion protocol. Hey, but again, Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen. I think that's a tandem duo. I really hope we can keep them both. I already know we get Roquan Smith, but I hope we can keep Patrick. But for the most part, these guys did extremely well. Now, there's also some things I want to say. I'm gonna get it out the way. this notion. Let me back up. Justin Tucker is arguably one of the best kickers in this league. Okay. Justin Tucker is not a god. If anything, we rely on him way too damn much to bail us out in certain situations. Now, the reason why I want y'all to listen to me for a second. Justin Tucker was 2 of 3, if I remember correctly, in the game. Okay. He missed a 44-yard field goal. Had a 13-10 lead with 3 minutes left. It went wide left. Again, looking at the tape, that was a rush. It was rushed because one, you look at the play clock, it was below 5 seconds. Another issue we've been having. And then number two, for context, yes, he's had 4 or 5 misses for 50 yards or longer. I know he had one. He first and foremost, we put him in a situation we made him kick a 61-yard, missed, 59-yard, missed, 53 hit the upright, missed, and it got blocked. Like, that's part of the game. Like, Justin Tucker, like, we can't be expecting him to be perfect out there. And on top of that, too, he's older. But also, too, it's not just about Justin Tucker. This special teams, this group this year has been awful. Like, there's a lot of stuff that, especially coming from knowing John Harbaugh's background. When he was in Philadelphia, what was his background? Special teams coordinator. And the fact that Chris Horton, I don't understand what this is. And then also, too, for some context, too, Nick Moore's out for the season. So you're bringing on, I think it's Chris Oyd from Seattle. Not the best, but Jordan Stout's a second-year player. There are things you have to look. There's context in that, particularly in that last field goal. Now, for me, when I look back, they should have called a timeout. Why they didn't want to call a timeout makes no sense. But he just went out there. Now, the last time that happened, he missed it back in 2015. It was and that was against San Francisco, I want to say it correctly. Not losing confidence in the guy, and nobody should. He's human. He's allowed to miss a couple field goals. Like the fact that this wild, goofy stat to say he's no longer the most accurate kicker is ridiculous. Justin Tucker, to me, is arguably the best kicker in the league. Yes, it happens. But the guy that replaced him is 1 field goal better than Justin Tucker. Y'all want me to give that man a cookie? How many game winners does he have? How many 61-yard field goals has he kicked? And that's what I'm not throwing shade. But I mean, we're sitting here acting like Justin Tucker for the whole season has just been awful. And there's a lot of stuff context you have to put in there. And that matters. Now, I know some of us don't like context, but context matters, whether we want to accept it or not. But the fact that we even had this discord, particularly on Twitter, it was just disgusting. As a Raven fan, and that's when it goes back to Raven fans can never be satisfied. Missed a field goal. Yes. But forget, he made 2 out of 3. Should he have made that one? Yes. Should it mean anything to Justin Tucker that he now is below 90%? Fuck no. Excuse my language. But I'm being honest. And the fact that we just start having this conversation, well, I guarantee you, and I promise you people, it's going to happen. When the day he calls it a career, and whoever his replacement is going to be, we're going to be on him we're going to be on him. And they're going to be like, man, I miss Justin Tucker. That's the first thing people are going to say. They're going to hold him to the Justin Tucker standard. I guarantee it's going to happen. I just want to get that off my chest because I just felt like that was utterly disgusting. Young Hoku, 90% doing his thing in Atlanta. Even though Atlanta's not a good team, he is a good kicker. But best kicker by one field goal. Anywho, back to my point to the game. I just want to get it off my chest. Now, for San Diego, Los Angeles, a couple things that I saw. Khalil Mack did a really good job out there. I know Joey Bosa dealing with injuries. I think Joey Bosa can definitely do some things. But he had a good game. He's not the same guy he was a few years ago, but he's still getting it done. I see no issues with him. The first down runs. Offensively, it's something about ever since Austin Eckler came back from his injury, it's just not, I don't see the explosiveness. I feel like he was rushed back a little too sooner. I'm almost convinced that he's still not right. He's still not 100%. If you remember, especially against the Eagles, he looked good. But then against Baltimore, he didn't even hit 100 yards. He averaged 3.2 yards per carry. It's just like a reality of Earth. And I think, again, that's what's been hurting him from especially hitting holes, because there was a couple times where there was holes developing and he couldn't get anything going. Now, for me, coming out the backfield as a pass catcher, he, to me, is a safety blanket for Justin Herbert. And that's fine, because outside of Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett had a touchdown. Quentin Johnston, again, we can have this Discord, say what you want. For me, I'm not ready to call it, especially when he's a rookie. I still think you could have went with either. You could have went with either Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers. But outside, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the pick. I think, again, he's a rookie. He's human. He's bound to make mistakes, and we have to give him time. Let's give him some time. I think Quentin Johnson will pan out. But outside of Keenan Allen, they don't really have much. Mike Williams is off for the season. Jordan Palmer is coming back, is returning off an injury. So there's a couple of things that we're working against San Diego. I don't know. There's a couple of things that they're going to see there. And then the turnovers. They fumbled the ball 3 times. And that's simply just not going to win you football games whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. I can't defend that. What do you want me to say to that?
Especially there was the one on the third down play in the red zone. That was a 19th play. And that drive that took up a majority of most of the third quarter. And Keenan Allen fumbled, which was close to being an incomplete pass. And gave him a field goal. And then Austin Eckler, he fumbled on the next possession. And that was a 2-minute drill that was ended going into halftime. I believe Quentin Johnston went down that game with an injury, if I remember. Didn't come back to it was a coach's decision. I respect that. But like I said, again, the offense ran through Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. I couldn't find anybody else. I know Josh Palmer has been dealing with an injury. Mike Williams is out for the year. And when those two, well, I'm not going to say it like that. When there's nobody else outside those two, the offense is just stale. And and that's going to hurt them the most. Like, I see similarities with the Chargers in terms of injuries. Justin Herbert, even though I have been hard on him, my only beef with Justin Herbert, is they're not showing the same energy they have with Lamar since Lamar's come into the league. Now I know I've been beating it like a dead horse, but I say what you want. Just the energy that Lamar has gotten, I've not seen that for Justin Herbert. See, yeah, we can talk about what happened in the playoffs last year, but I'm talking about the headlines. Are the Los Angeles Chargers getting their money worth from Justin Herbert? I haven't seen that. Those type of things. But I see injuries have bit them in the butt. And there's a lot of stuff. And funny, like I said, they passed up on Jordan Addison. They had a chance. I think they had at one point to draft Keaton Mitchell, and they passed up on him. So, I mean, there's a lot with Los Angeles. Personally, I don't think Brandon Staley is the coach for this team. That's just my opinion. But outside of that, I think they got a core to build around, but it's just not. It's not going to work this season. I think it's going to pack it up, call it a year. Yeah, just like I don't see anything changing. I think San Diego will win 7 games and they'll miss the playoffs. Just the injuries. I think there's some inconsistencies. And then you got to go in next year. And you got there's some things to think about. Salary cap. Can you afford Khalil Mack? You just paid Joey Bosa. Now you got Mike Williams coming back healthy. Quentin Johnson will hopefully in year 2 we'll see improvements. Austin Eckler, do you keep him? There's a lot of things Los Angeles will have to figure out. But I do believe that they'll finish the year with 7 wins. But I was disappointed. I was expecting this to be kind of a little bit of a back and forth game, and for the most part, it looked at sometimes very one-sided. So outside of that, I mean, those are my takeaways from the game. But just to wrap it up with Baltimore, coaching is definitely going to be a factor for me going into these next 5 games. Got to be effective. Got to do smart because we're going against some stellar coaches, and one mistake and that can definitely be the outcome of a game. So before we get into the preview against Los Angeles Rams, let's get into the sponsor of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast, and that is Zagnif Apparel. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to dress like you're already famous? You can and you will with Zagnif Apparel.
The following is a presentation of Zagnif Productions, LLC. Introducing Zagnif Apparel. Our comfortable line of leisure wear and athletic wear will have you comfortable and stylish at any occasion. Whether you're at the gym, out shopping, or just relaxing at home. Whether you're an athlete or just want to lay around the house, we've got the perfect outfit for you. Stop by our website today and pick up your favorite pieces. Zagnif Apparel. Dress like you're already famous.
You can and you will with a nice 15% off using my discount code on your final purchase. Big Nate for 15% off. Zagnif Apparel, thank you so very much for being a sponsor of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into previewing this weekend. We had a well-needed bye week. For me, I feel like this was much needed. Needed to regroup, especially with the injuries, get everybody back healthy, get everybody back right. I feel like this was a good bye week. Now, we're home. And this weekend, they're calling for some rain. It's going to look a little pretty nasty out there. The Los Angeles Rams, formerly known as the St. Louis Rams, for me growing up, are coming to M&T Bank Stadium. And for me, I'm a little nervous. Last time we saw these boys was 2022. And former, now Baltimore Ram, Odell Beckham Jr. had the game-winning touchdown, and we lost. The last time we also saw them, want to say in 2019, yes, where we destroyed them. That's when we had Marcus Peters. That game was. I love Marcus Peters. There's something about when we had, because we just got him that season. We like 45-9. It was embarrassing. It was a blowout. Coming into this game, Los Angeles, if I remember correctly, I believe they're 6-6, on the year. They've been in the middle of the road team. They've been dealing with some injuries. Brother Cooper Kupp, has been dealing with some injuries. Paka Nuka, I had a chance to draft him in a dynasty league, and I John Lude on that when he's been looking pretty good. Matthew Stafford is looking like a vintage Matthew Stafford. He's still gonna go out there and give you max effort. So far in the year, I believe he has 16 touchdowns, 9 picks. The defense, however, is very, very otherwise. They're giving up about 20 points a game. However, with an offense that's averaging about 22 points a game, that's not bad. They did beat Cleveland. I believe it was 36-19. And even in that game, I know Cleveland's dealing with some injuries. Joe Flacco made his debut. Joe Flacco in a Cleveland Brown uniform.
He didn't even try.
Anywho, they outperformed them. They forced 8 turnover in that game, and they almost have 420 yards of offense. I believe they have 399 to be exact. I remember saying those stats correctly. Look, I think for Los Angeles, because this is going to be interesting, weather's going to play a factor. I don't want this team that I'm getting remnants of what happened against Indy. And I don't want to see that. I think it's going to come down to be aggressive early with the ball. I expect us to run the ball a little bit, but I also expect us to pass the ball. I don't expect everything to be long. I expect it to be short, getting short yardage, effective plays, and keeping their offense off the field as much as possible. And again, for Baltimore coming off a bye week, they should be ready for this game. They should be energized. Nothing really should change, if anything. I think what's going to be key for me is to see Keaton Mitchell getting the ball. I think he's going to be the key in this game. Zay Flowers, to me, will be the key. Isaiah Likely and Charlie Kolar. Now that Mark Andrews is out for the year, even though he says an outside chance he could come back, not going to happen, in my opinion. This is where I need them to prove their worth. But also, too, we did say at the beginning of the season, it's going to be interesting to see how Todd gets the tight ends involved. So just real quick, the injury report. So it looks like, from what I saw, Malik Harrison is questionable. Malik Ham has an ankle injury, and Demario Williams are all questionable. Everybody else participated. Odell Beckham did not participate in practice Friday. Marlon Humphrey, had a full practice. Malik Harrison was limited all week. And yes, those are really injured. So we kind of have a clean bill of health. For Los Angeles, though, Tyler Higbee, I know, is dealing with a neck injury, so he's doubtful. More likely won't play. They got a couple linebackers that are dealing with ironically, knee injuries, and one hamstring, and they're all questionable, and they were limited in Friday's practice. So I'm actually curious to see what they're going to do a little bit. If I'm Los Angeles, I think their biggest threat is passing the ball. Now, you've got Puka Nuka and Cooper Kupp. I think that can make plays for you. Now I'm kind of curious to see how Baltimore will take them away. Now, especially now that it's raining, I'm curious to see how their run game is going to be. I expect Baltimore's defense to come out aggressive. I also expect them to get to the quarterback. Now, for Baltimore, I expect them to be burning the clock a lot. And I kind of can see this would be in a game where we're kind of settling for field goals. I think it's going to be an effective ground game. Now, looking at Los Angeles last few weeks, their offense has definitely come alive. But in the flip side, their defense is mediocre. So I think it's going to be I don't want to say one-sided, but I do expect Baltimore to come out and be effective. I expect Keaton Mitchell to touch the ball at least 15 times, and I predict him to have over 150 yards on the ground. I expect Lamar to have 2 touchdowns. I predict one will be Rashard Bateman or one is Zay Flowers. I think Rashard's been starting to pick it up as of late. For me, the key is just the offense. The defense is going to go out there and it's going to do its thing. I expect the defense to go out there and force them in 3 and outs. And I can see Los Angeles offense being kept in check. I believe they're going to score 14 points. I don't see them coming, especially in this condition where they're calling for rain, and the way they're calling it to be Sunday. I'm not expecting much passing in this game. I'm actually expecting this to be whoever who bend but don't break, who breaks first defense. And I expect it to be one-sided a little bit, but I'm going to say Baltimore beats Los Angeles. I'm looking along the lines of 35-14.
Guaranteed.
I think it's going to be, again, my keys: establish the run game early. Don't be afraid to throw some passing in there, but I expect a mixture of pass and run. The offensive line is going to be key for me in this game. Now, especially in weather. Now everybody's back. Everyone had a full week of rest, so I'm curious to see what this offensive line looks like. I'm curious to see how our coaches made the necessary adjustments, and I expect Justin Tucker to have at least 4 field goals on the day. I predict that. So don't ask me. Just knowing how this offense can be at times, and it can happen. And also taking care of the ball. That's definitely going to be key. Our red zone offense is going to be key as well. So, and also look for Patrick Ricard getting the end zone probably as well. So those are my keys to victory for the Baltimore Ravens. But with that being said, let's get to the one final thought of the podcast.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize.
My one final thought, again, this is a great week. Tuesday was my birthday, and I don't know how to feel. It's another year older. But I look back and I feel good. Like I said, I think going into 29, I think some good things are going to happen. I said 2024 is going to be a prosperous year. And I'm just thankful I could share that with some good, genuine people. Again, I apologize if I've been MIA. Now that school is getting ready to wrap up, I have more time to record. So you'll see, we got to talk about Maryland women's basketball. Got to go back to the Cancun Challenge. There's a lot. I have all my notes sitting here, and just got to get out and just get these videos out to y'all as soon as possible. Got to talk about Washington. Got to talk about the Maryland men's basketball team, the WNBA mock draft. Just a quick update on that. So the draft lottery is actually this upcoming Sunday. And for me, I think it's a little, to me, I can't really do a mock draft until I know who has number one overall pick, only because from a couple things. One, I go by draft need. Now, everyone's going to go with the sexy pick. Most people believe it's going to be Caitlin Clark, and I don't disagree with that. But whoever has number one overall pick might be Paige Beckers. Could be somebody else. Just saying. So be on the lookout for that. We will have an MLB off-season talk at some point. I want to get it out before Christmas. But that's pretty much it. Thank you for the support you're giving me in this channel. You will see episodes 9, 10, 11. You're just going to see mini episodes. You're going to see a boatload of episodes come out soon. I do have a special announcement. I'm trying to get some things done right with the Maryland women's basketball team. Stay tuned for that. Definitely got a little project coming out with that. Trying to really make some moves. Hope it comes into fruition, crossing fingers. But yes, also too, I haven't been on MarylandSportsBlog.com. Again, I'll be back on that. Back on that soon. As you can follow my work. But outside of that, man, hey, that's going to conclude this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in this episode of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. And also too, I'm also at the moment off social media until further notice. Just take a little break from that. But you can follow me on Twitter at @OneNathanSnell. You can also follow podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Going to try to get as much content out to you as soon as possible. But thank you for your support. You giving me this channel. Much love. Another year. Blessed forward to see it. And all glory goes to God. And none of this is possible without him. And I'm appreciative of that. And I hope you guys are all having a great week. December's here. Before you know it, Christmas will be here, and then the new year, 2024. My gosh, I cannot believe it. Where's the time gone, man? But yeah, man, thank you. Thank you so much for every tuning. Y'all have a good night. I'm going to catch you on the flip side. Peace. Stay up.
I know that loving me wasn't always easy. And you felt like walking away when you couldn't see me. Felt like all your hope was gone. But I'm right here on bended knee. Please be my wife and stay with me. Please take my hand through stormy weather. We will stay, yeah. Let me be the one when you need me, I'll be there. Just to let you know that I really do care, yeah. Baby, I promise. Baby, I promise. I'll be right here for you, no matter the problem. No matter the problem, baby. I'll be by your side, 'cause the love we share can never be denied.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the next big thing, the next up-and-coming sports journalist, Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
I want to thank you, yeah. I want to thank you. Ooh. For all the times you put up with me. Thank you. And you helped me retain my sanity. Thank you. I want to thank you. And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you for everything you do.